Orland for her statement, and I now give the floor to the representative of the Russian Federation.
Thank you, Madam President. We want to thank the Undersecretary General Jean-Pierre Lacroix for his presentation. Russia welcomes a successful holding in July and August of presidential elections in Mali. We are happy that, according to the reports of African and international observers, the vote took place without serious violations or incidents. We're grateful to the UN mission on stabilization in Mali for the timely provision of logistical and technical support in preparing the elections. We expect that the outcome of the elections that were held will contribute to achieving peace and national reconciliation in Mali, and will allow Malian society to overcome existing difficulties and more effectively combat the terrorist threat in the Sahel region as a whole. We note the efforts of Bamako in restoring the presence of the state authorities in the north of the country. Since this summer, work on setting up municipal bodies of government has been stepped up. In most of the districts, interim administrations have been appointed. It's important that the state has begun to provide assistance in fostering economic activity of these regions, which is the best antidote to further social turmoil. We note that the Malians are undertaking efforts to reform the security sector. It's important to focus here on implementing the Agreement on Peace and Reconciliation from 2015, strengthening confidence-building measures, and having the armed forces of the country cooperate with the armed groups that are under the control of the Coordination platform groups should become the basis for reestablishing peace and law and order. We are in favor of launching mixed patrols in the city of Gao as soon as possible. We welcome the signature on the 15th of October of the Pact for Peace between the Malian authorities and the Special Representative of the Secretary General of the UN. It's important that representatives of Platform and Coordination also declare about their commitment to the provisions of that document. We expect that this document will become an additional guarantee in ensuring that the parties comply with the roadmap and the peace agreement as envisioned in Security Council Resolution 2423. Now, while recognizing the obvious progress in the process of peace in Mali, we have to also take note of other trends, unfortunately less encouraging in the country. We are concerned about the spike in the number of terrorist actions over the past 3 months. The center of Mali has seen an increasingly intense intercommunal and interethnic conflicts that are burning out of control. This situation is compounded by the fact that the presence of the authorities in those regions is at a critically low level. In this connection, it would be remiss not to acknowledge the results achieved by MINUSMA in reconciling the warring parties. We're also very concerned about the worsening humanitarian situation. The number of those needing assistance over the past year has increased by almost 50%. This is a very worrying trend. We call on all donors to urgently live up to their obligations in financing the humanitarian response plan. We'd like to remind everyone that in conditions of hopelessness among the Malian youth, there are no other options but to fill the ranks of terrorist, extremist, or criminal groups. The situation in Mali is a significant factor in overall African security. However, to achieve peace and stability in this country without normalizing the situation in the region as a whole does not seem possible. The continuing Libyan factor continues to play a negative role here. It's increasingly clear that there's a link between the terrorists operating on the territory of Mali and in the region as a whole. And in this connection, we support the concrete steps of the G5 Sahel states in setting up the joint force to combat terrorism and organized crime. We expect that their role in ensuring regional security will grow. Thank you very much.
Le doy las gracias al representante.
I want to thank the representative of the Russian Federation.